Hello, this is Dr. Gregory Jenkins, and this is the Doc and Dukov show. I'm here with my psychotherapy intern, Alicia Dukov, and we have a guest today. And today's show is going to be about dating, all the different aspects of dating, blind dating, Match.com dating, Bumble dating, Tinder dating, transsexual dating, whatever dating we want to do, we're going to talk about it today. So we have a guest today, and we're going to talk about dating. And she's here visiting temporarily for another year or so from Ohio. And she's in the past, she's been in sports and met plenty of people. And I believe she likes to date. So let me introduce Shania. And Alicia is coming in just a second here. And hello, Alicia.
Hello. Hello. Here's that busy mommy that just came back from picking her son up from school. Justin's shaking his head in complete disapproval. But Justin, are you a mother? No. Yeah. This is what it looks like to be like a professional working woman in her early 30s with a growing family, which is amazing, and everything's gorgeous, and I love everything I'm doing, but wow, do you have to be on?
All the time.
All the time.
You have to be ready, huh?
Ready to go, just on fire.
Before you got here, I was telling how Shania is a gymnast from Ohio.
Oh, how exciting.
And they're almost neighbors. Justin and her are almost neighbors
You
growing
come
up.
from Ohio?
I'm not from Ohio, but I have a lot of family there. My uncle lives in Ohio.
See, they're almost neighbors.
close.
They're related.
Oh, okay. Well, tell us what you're doing out here. And there's a particular interest is why we have you on the show today.
Yes.
It's
We're going to talk about dating.
We're talking about dating today. Just in case, did you guys introduce that just now?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. So we're talking about dating today. You're 24 years old. You live in LA.
Yes.
Just already off the bat, that's like a criteria
Yeah.
that a lot of women and men out there will be able to identify with, of the crazy wiles of dating in this jungle.
Jungle is the perfect word.
With animals in it,
And it's
you know.
like coming from back home and from the Midwest, and people are all like, my age, they're getting married and they're like having kids, and I'm just like in LA dating.
But she's only 24, so you still have time.
But I know, but it's like
But
back
Midwest,
home,
it's a
Midwest
different
to like
mentality.
out here,
Right.
it's totally different.
Right? Are you
So-
already like an old maid by like 28? Is there something wrong with you in the culture by 28 if you're not married over there
Over there?
versus
Yeah, that's
here?
weird. That's weird.
And you
That's
get the
really
looks and like what's
But
wrong
it's
with
cool.
her?
I'll just sip my wine and go my dates
Right.
until, the right guy comes along.
So you were certainly not what the normal Ohio girl was like.
No.
You were more independent.
Very independent. I moved out here by myself.
Wow.
Just jumped in my Jeep with my dog, and I moved out here for fashion school. So
Okay, so you want to be what? What is your goal?
my goal
that?
is to be a designer. I sew. I design. Like, I'm into trends and things like that. I like to like predict trends, make new trends, stuff like that. So that's kind of my direction that I'm going in.
What's that show that was like America's Next Top Model with Heidi
Project Runway.
Klum? Right. Is that
Yeah.
kind of what your big
Yeah,
idea
yeah.
would be?
Something like that,
Something like
yeah.
that would be amazing for you out here.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We would definitely watch that.
I know.
Yeah, we'd plug the
It's
heck out
hard
of it.
to not get addicted to
Yeah.
those seasons. I mean, even RuPaul's Drag Race is fun to, you just kind of pick your contestant
entertaining.
over the time.
Right, it is entertaining, yeah.
Okay, so tell us now, how long have you been out here? first
I've
of
been
all?
out here for a year and a half.
And how are you finding it generally? Let's not talk about guys yet. Let's not talk about dating yet. Just in general, what does it feel like to you, the climate?
It feels great. Like, of course, obviously it was an adjustment. I had to really like observe and kind of just like peep the scene, see like what was going on. And I'm like at the point where I feel like I'm like comfortable. Like, my job's good. I'm making good money. And like, I'm just like living life. Like, I have my friends kind of set, like went through the rocky stages of, moving to probably one of the biggest states biggest cities in the country.
Sure, and
by
everybody
yourself.
wants to be here.
Yeah, everybody wants to be here. So it's definitely an adjustment period. But
Are you in the thick of it in LA, or do you live out
Yes.
here? Do you live in?
No, I
Okay.
live in like Koreatown.
She's like
so
Vine and
literally,
in Hollywood.
Like, I'm like 10 minutes from
Right-
Grove.
right off
like,
Wilshire.
yeah, right off Wilshire.
Okay, that's a totally different thing as well. Every
Yeah.
time I'm out there, it feels totally different. And that's the thing about LA that a lot of people that are not from here wouldn't really know, because when you come here, you want to be where you are right
Right,
now.
exactly.
That's why people from the Midwest, for instance, would come to LA. They want to be in the thick of it.
Yeah.
But they don't realize that there's so much more about Los Angeles. It's a big, expansive
It's a really
place.
big dating site.
Right?
There's a lot of dating there.
Yeah, and we're getting there. We
Yeah.
are. I'm leading this into the people.
I'm
but
just getting impatient,
generally, where you are right now, you're going to see a lot of people that were not originally from California, not originally from LA. A lot of them are. I mean, they're born and raised here. I never wanted to leave. You know, I'm happy as a California girl. I'm happy as an LA girl. But I appreciated it so much more for the differences between the regions in LA. When I moved away, I went abroad and lived in Switzerland for 5 years. I was in London, traveled all over the world in my 20s. Like, every time I came back, I was more and more thrilled to be here, where originally I was like, oh, God, it's so superficial. Everybody's just wanting the same thing. It's so plastic these days. Everybody's after what you can do for them. And I started seeing it differently only as I started to branch out of the thick of the industry in LA. So I wanted to know, first of all, before we go into the specifics of dating, have you dated guys outside of like the Hollywood scene and recognize what I'm talking about right now?
I feel like I've dated like all types of guys. Like, I've dated guys that were either like in music or, you know, athletes and or just like some regular guy that like is a bartender.
like doctors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doctors.
All types of people. So like I've seen like pretty much like all ends of the spectrum, but like it just comes back to everybody's just kind of the same.
All right.
And I feel like maybe it's me.
Professional athletes?
Well,
Have you dated any of those?
I've dated like one.
Okay.
Briefly.
Well, it sounds to me already like you've been dating people that are sort of trying to make it.
Yeah.
They're not established yet. And do you see that might be like a difference in how they feel about themselves and their level of security and who they are versus
Maybe.
like an ego and an
Yeah.
overcompensation? And
I feel like a lot of the guys that I've dated, they want you to like chase them. And I'm like,
Ego.
I'm not here to chase you. Like, I'm a woman. I am like supposed to be the prize. Like, what is this? I'm so confused.
do you think there's a lack of, you know, the idea of what men should be out there in the younger generation these days? The guys that you're dating?
totally agree with that. I think
Opening
that
the door for a girl,
I feel like-
chasing her.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the guys these days, they're very. What's the word I want to use?
Let it loose. Tell us. Come on.
I'm here. I can
swear to
take it.
God. Just
They're like
just say it.
girls. Like, they act like girls. They're super sensitive. They're like females, seriously. And I'm just like,
I'm the one with the
dude,
period. Sorry. Like we
can't
cannot
do- I
have
can't
two
do
of
this.
us. Mm-mm.
Don't tell me to delete your number. Like, I tell you to do that. Like, don't do that.
Oh, so they've kind of taken on
Yeah.
like the female role
roles,
in
yes.
the dating.
Maybe it's the water down there where you
Ritual.
live. I don't see that up here.
Well, that was one of my points. I don't know if it's like that in every city. You know,
Yeah.
within Los
Right.
Angeles in general. I think there's so much difference when you like look down the street between you're on Wilshire.
Yeah.
You go to 3rd Street and Highland.
Yeah.
And a palm tree literally splits Hancock Park from like ghetto, you know?
Right,
And it's like
It's
two
so weird.
completely different
Yeah.
kinds of people would exist on one side of the street versus the other. I don't know if there's like a generalization to be made these days, but overall, I am hearing the same thing a lot about these guys kind of not grabbing their cojones and saying, this is what I want you, you are that prize, I'm going to move mountains for you. And sort of a general feeling of knowing who they are and setting their sights on that prize. I think that's very inherently what women want males to do. So let's hear it. Let's hear how bad it's gotten. I mean, have there been guys that you have been more into and they make you kind of do that stupid game where you're chasing them?
Yes. So I've been having like an issue with most of the guys I've been dating lately, to where they have either another life or like a girlfriend, or like, for instance, the guy that I was recently talking to, I was like, we've been dating for a couple months, like maybe like 3 months or so, like going on dates and things like that. And then it got to the point where I was like, so why haven't I been to your place? Like, this is weird.
And he had a
I'm
second
kind
Because
of
his
over-
girlfriend's there.
Right? Or
So
his kids?
he tells me like, oh, my ex still has a key to my place. And I'm like,
Something messy going on.
I'm like,
yeah.
okay, does she live with you? Are you guys together? Like, dude, we've been dating for like, we've been like hanging out. Things have been great. Like,
Also, the word ex would mean you're not together anymore. So even if she has a key to your place, why wouldn't I, as your new interest, be able to come over?
You should have said, okay, let's go meet her, and we can tell her where we are with our relationship, and then she can give the key back.
Well, this leads me to my question about you personally. How much do you put up with? Like, did you even put up with that crap?
I literally was like, you know what?
You saw it right
I'm
away.
cool. Goodbye.
Out of here.
And then
Awesome.
he's like sending me like edible arrangements and things like that. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you mean a lot to me. And I'm just like, I'm not trying to like invest in you when you're like have a whole
Something weird's going on.
with
Yeah.
somebody else.
Right.
Like,
Good for
that's
you.
just too much. And I probably in the past would have been like, oh, he'll work it out. But now I'm just like, no, I'm not dealing with that type of stuff. Like, I'm not being stupid. I'm not like gonna play that little game. It's enough.
Yeah, because what do you want? You're pretty direct about what I think, from what I'm gathering from you, not just career-wise,
Yeah.
but in your heart, what you want out of a relationship. I
Yeah.
feel like you pretty much know.
Yeah.
What is that?
I want to be with somebody. I want to end up getting married. Like, I want to have kids. Like, I come from that. My grandparents, like,
Values.
It's like, I have like that whole family value. I'm very like hospitable and like, I'm a host. Like, I love like having little parties. Like, I love like
You want to nest,
Yeah.
and you want to like plant seeds and watch them grow. And
Yeah. I mean, but I'm like, this keeps happening. All these like random little stupid things keep happening. I'm like, maybe I should just worry by myself and be single and just have fun.
That's my dating advice today. We're gonna get into that second
Right, yeah.
second segment. I'm gonna give
She
some
encourages
basic dating advice.
You encourage a lot of things like that. She does.
I do. I encourage autonomy, and I bet you really don't know what that word means. It's not a word that is commonly used, and I came into awareness of it like a year ago, and it really integrated deeply into me. Autonomy is more than independence. And I have this whole metaphor regarding it, which we'll go into in the second segment. But little taster right now, it's being your own person. It's knowing who you are on a really deep intrinsic level and owning yourself, loving the worst parts of yourself, knowing where all the crap is that you need to figure out, and loving that as opposed to hating yourself for it, which really just makes us insecure and manifests in behaviors that we see out there between men and women, but mainly of a younger generation because they're still trying to figure this stuff out.
Right.
Women in your age group are generally more mature. So it's harder for you to find a guy your age that has their stuff together like you do. And that's just in general.
24 is
so.
just barely out of college, so I think.
But
some
men are
peop-
always emotionally about, I'd say, like 5 to 7 years behind their
But
age.
what if like? But I'm
mentally,
not even really
emotionally.
dating
Not
guys
mentally,
my age
emotionally.
though. That's the crazy part.
She likes
You're
most
talking
of
I like
about
a
older
little bit
ones?
older.
Okay, how
Yeah.
old?
Yeah, like between.
Let's hear it.
I know exactly what you're
How
going to
old
say.
are you, Dr. Jenkins?
I'm just
How
perfect
old are
age.
you,
I'm the
honey?
perfect age.
How old is Dr. Jenkins?
I am the perfect age.
Okay, so I'm like 30 to like 40, like between 30
It's
and
not
40.
bad.
So it's like you kind of like should have your stuff together a little bit, right?
No. Okay, so yeah, we're totally gonna get into the ins and outs of this, but yeah, let's just start with the fact that men are generally like 5 to 7 years younger than their age emotionally. Okay, when they're in their 30s, you're hoping that you find that guy that has his values set and wants to settle down and have that wife. Those are also predominantly these days a lot of the players out there.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
the ones with the double lives.
They're like, yeah, I've already done that. Like
They
whole
want the
messing around.
side
Now I know
girl.
how to. Yeah,
and you end up being the side
and I'm not
girl.
trying to be the side girl.
You want the marriage and the ring, but then that's unfortunately a lot of the times what we see in the worst of these situations is that wife that wanted that ring got it around the time she was your age, and she's feeling very used up right now by that same guy that's going after you as the side girl. She's feeling unappreciated. She's feeling like she's home with the kids, and where is he, and why is he out late, and all of this. And you think he's leading a double life on you. She is either turning a blind eye and has no idea, or she does and she's totally lost because she has this family with the guy now and she wants him to be home and present, but he's not. And then they feel really isolated. So there's like different sides of these women right now, different age groups that are dealing with these men that want their cake and eat it all too. I mean, they want
like all the crumbs.
they want it all.
Damn,
And
man.
it's smart women.
That's half the
younger
problem
women.
with love.
What?
Men.
Men are the problem with love.
Half the problem.
I've known
Half
a
the
lot of
problem.
women that have said, you know what?
That's what I said. The other
Maybe
half
there's
is the
something to
women.
this
The other
lesbian
half is
thing.
the women.
Like,
That's
Oh,
really
she's
funny.
nodding
A
her
friend
head.
of mine,
Uh-huh.
a friend of mine just sent me a screenshot like from Instagram of this girl that we're friends with, and I guess she has like a whole girlfriend now. Like she's kind of like disappeared from hanging out with us, and we're like, where have you been? Like we invite her to like events and stuff, and she just never comes. And I mean, I guess she
So
has
she
a
like
whole
a
girlfriend.
lipstick girl or lipstick lesbian type or?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Like,
Have you seen? Well,
I saw the little video of her and her girlfriend, like from her girlfriend's page.
Did
but,
she
like,
go butch or did she go feminine?
It's kind of an in between because the girl's really pretty, but she kind of dresses a little butch. But like,
Oh God,
like,
that's
like
my
an
favorite.
in between. Yeah,
Androgynous.
yeah,
So
yeah. So she's
sexy.
like kind of just like that in between, but like still
Androgynous.
really cute.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my best friend. My best friend is
Yeah.
total androgynous. I just adore her because you cannot put her in a box.
Yeah.
That's the most attractive thing these days.
Yeah.
Have you noticed?
I have.
Between genders, doesn't matter male or female, like you like people that are individual, that are owning their individuality, that say screw the boxes, I don't
Yeah.
belong in any of them.
Right.
Right? Isn't that the most attractive
Yeah,
quality?
definitely.
You don't find that a lot in the guys that you're trying to date. What they're trying to do is put you in a box called the other woman.
And I can't do that. It's
Right?
weird. It's really weird. Like before the situation with the whole like ex thing, I was talking to another guy, and this was like around the time that I had just moved, and things were going good. Like I was kind of like flying back and forth. It was kind of like a long distance thing. And then a friend of mine visited. It was a friend of a friend that visited and kind of put two and two together that him and I were talking, and then told my friend like, oh, he's talking to this girl, and they're like actually like boyfriend girlfriend. And I'm like, why does this keep happening to me?
And you're not the only one. That's the thing. Isn't that terrible? And you were already starting to get invested.
Yeah.
You were already starting to have
Yeah.
feelings. So this is something that we'll talk about regarding the autonomy, is how to keep yourself emotionally not safe, you know, which would put you in this prison in yourself. You don't want to do that. That's inhibiting.
Right.
You want to keep being the big open heart that you are and not have like a complex about, oh my God, this just keeps happening to me. I'm not going to care anymore.
Why is this happening?
Right? But what we want to do is just we want to hone in on your already sharp skills that you have going on intuitively. Women are highly intuitive, and you are not the type that's going to take a lot of crap.
No.
So, and I think that is something we're seeing more and more these days. Your generation is very self-aware, very self-aware. You'd have more luck right now with trying to find a really solid guy in your own age group. And I've never said that about generations before, because as I just said, most men are emotionally younger than they are. But the 24-year-old guys today, they're not necessarily like that. A lot of them are more emo than anything else, because you were just saying, oh my God, so wimpy, like they're just so emotional. I'm the only one with a period, right?
Right.
But actually, they're really solid inside in a way that they don't present. And those 30-something-year-olds that you're after, they're the players these days. They're not, they lead those double lives. Not all of them, but, you know.
Yeah, do you mind like just marrying, getting together with like a divorced guy with kids?
Do you want baggage?
no, I don't wanna
it's
do
not
that.
attractive.
No.
So it's hard to find
Unless he's
single
really
guys that
special.
are 40 that never been married.
Oh
If
no,
you-
that's a whole other thing. If they
Yeah.
have never even been engaged by the time they're 40,
That's bad.
That's a red flag.
Yeah.
You have to
Yeah.
think to yourself, there's something emotionally going on there with him. Maybe mommy issues, maybe generally it has something to do
Yeah.
with a bad mother issue. And they
Right.
are emotionally stunted. You had a friend like that a while back that I knew, and I became friends with his girlfriend, if you could call her that. He ended up calling her after 9 years of dating, and she was waiting for him to finally just like pop the question and get on with it and like, come on, be a man, oh, you know, make me your woman. The best he could do was say, you're my number one. That, do you remember?
Yeah.
I mean, she told me this. I was 26 at the time. And I was like, you are kidding. She was my age back then. I'm 34 now. She was 34. And she was waiting for this guy to like take her in his arms and say, you're my woman. And the best he could do was, you're my number one, baby. And he was 45, never been married, never engaged. Big red flag. I don't know if they're still together. Do you know?
I don't know.
I've always wondered, actually. But she really...
We can find out, though.
She was an independent little thing. She had her own Porsche that she bought herself. She has her own little business. Anyway, that's the autonomy. And we want to own that. I put women through something called goddess therapy that happens really fast. Like, they actually scarily turn around and own themselves independently through this goddess therapy and end up breaking off the relationship. And sometimes I feel really bad, and then I'm like, no, this is what goddess therapy is about.
supposed to do.
Own yourself. Okay, we're going to go to break, but if anybody is listening right now and has a question about dating, about being 20 something and wanting that real relationship with the values, and you just want to kind of come in and talk with us here, give us a call, 661-298-5487, and we're going to be right back.